All right, everybody. You know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. And welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for those of you who decided to tune in to join us here in Saturday morning on the Saturday Sports Update. What's one of the famous lines from back in the day? Yes, you said minister. You seem a little animated this morning. Yeah, just thankful to be alive and well and in the land of the living. That's a double talk there. But bottom line, we're just happy to be here, happy to be moving around the cabin. And it does appear that this morning, actually, my mic appears to be working. The other day, it was not working properly. But again, thank God for being out here. Got a fresh haircut, feeling pretty good, a little gasoline in the tank. And today, we can broadcast from our home studio. We are not working today. Thank God for all of that. And we want to say thank God and blessings and appreciate all of those of you who are listening on the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570 on the AM dial. Now, most people listening said, dude, AM still around? Yes, it is still around. But good news. If you can't listen to us on AM, I have some great regular, as y'all would say, modern day ways to listen. Number one, you can listen to us on the web at WIGO1570.com. That again is www.wigo1570.com. Or you can download the free app. If you don't have it, the app is absolutely free. It's called TuneIn. Download the app, put WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you will find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. And of course, I'm going to ask you, if you haven't done so already, please, ma'am, please, sir, follow us on all social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. That you can follow us on all social media, Real Talk Sports, the number 7. We'd love to connect with you. We have had people, which I appreciate, see me and say, hey, man, ain't you Real Talk Sports? I said, well, I'm not necessarily Real Talk Sports, but I'm Jonathan Simmons, the guy on Real Talk Sports. So we appreciate you guys that give me a shout out. You know, when you see me, man, that's the love. I appreciate it very, very much. Also appreciate to those people who have subscribed to us on YouTube. It's been a long journey, but we're inching our way closer and closer to the wonderful number of 1,000 subscribers. Now, I know you see some influencers, they got, 1 million subscribers, but I don't care about them. I want to say thank you to those of you who have now gotten us to 900 subscribers. We went across we went across that threshold this morning, 900 subscribers on YouTube. I'm excited. Like I say again, I know I've been doing this for a long time, and you would think I'd have more subscribers than that. But like I said again, I'm going to thank God for what I got, and which is thank God for like I said again, 900 subscribers now here on YouTube. It's official. Thank you, and thank you very, very much. And also thank you for those of you who have been up in the ante here on Facebook. We've been getting a lot of views on Facebook like we used to back in the day. Appreciate you for that. But like I say again, thank you for those of you who have subscribed to us on YouTube and checking us out. Well, let's go get you guys kind of caught up in the world of sports. As always, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports by the time we get to you on Saturday. And let's take a look at Major last night. I don't have the film, but you guys can kind of Google up. Last night we had some activities, that we do every now and then in baseball. We had a little dust up. Yankees and Orioles. I'm going to pick these headlines right from ESPN.com. Like Yankees and Orioles played last night. Now this was big because the Orioles are one of the best teams in baseball. They have one of the best records in baseball, 57-37. And the Yankees, as they always are want to do every few years, they put together a powerhouse squad, multiple all-star players on that team. And they had a big showdown in Baltimore as the Yankees tried to catch the Orioles for the lead in the AL East because they, coming into this game, was just about 2 games back. And of course, when you have a battle of rivals, tempers can flare. And last night, the Yankees and Orioles benches cleared after a pitch was thrown at a Yankee player's head and knocked him down. And the manager of the Orioles ran out onto the field. And the bottom line is it got a little nasty. And if you guys want to, you can go to ESPN.com and check this out. Guy gets hit in the head, and he's just like, down goes Frazier. And the Yankees were like, we're not having that. So, like I said, again, it's been really, it's old school baseball. Guys, like I said, benches clear. I said, really didn't get into too much of anything. But like I said, last night, we got a little chippy. But the bottom line is the Yankees now find themselves one half game out of first place. Excuse me, one game out of first place after they knock off the Orioles 4-1 last night in a, like I said, scrappy game played by all teams. Let's go around the rest of the league and take a look as we go to update last night's scores. Well, let's go back to the National League where we be from here. And for most of the teams, there was a lot of interleague baseball. And here for us, the Philadelphia Phillies, who right now lead the um, Atlanta Braves in the NL East, they got knocked off last night by the Oakland A's 6-2 in last night's ball game. Also in the NL East, again where we reside, the Atlanta Braves pick up a game on the Phillies, winning 6-1 over the San Diego Padres. And this was after a big loss they had to the the Arizona Diamondbacks. So kudos to our hometown Atlanta Braves for winning last night against San Diego 6-1. Also staying in the NL East, the New York Metropolitans knock off the Colorado Rockies 7-6 in a slugfest out there it's not Shea Stadium anymore. I forgot it's called Citi Field. But the New York Metropolitans 7 and the Colorado Rockies 6. Over in the Central Division, Pittsburgh Pirates knock off the Chicago White Sox 4-1 in a game that Pittsburgh tries to keep in the hunt for the wild card as we head into the Major League Baseball All-Star break. Chicago Cubs win against St. Louis. It's kind of like a rivalry game that kind of goes back like to the beginning of baseball. These teams have been rivals since the early 1900s, and last night the Cubs knock off the St. Louis Cardinals 5-1. So just catching you up just a little bit here on what's going on in the world of baseball, and letting you guys know that obviously, like I said, big stuff is going on with the big brawl. That's what everybody's really kind of talking about with Major League Baseball last night. Also, the NBA Summer League is going on as well, and we had a little situation. I shouldn't say a situation. We had a showdown between the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. Now, I kind of call this a showdown, and the only reason I mention this is because that Atlanta and Washington had the number one and number two picks respectively, and it was alleged that the number two pick, which went to the Washington Wizards, Alexandre Sarr, had a very French feeling at the top of the draft. He had claimed, or his people had claimed, that he did not want to come to the Hawks. Did not want to come here. Said, I'm not interested. And instead, the Hawks end up taking another Frenchman, young Mr. Richard last night in the battle of number one against number two. Well, unfortunately, it looks like The rookie Alexander Sarr actually ended up his team winning 94-88 against the Atlanta Hawks, and really it was all in the fourth quarter as the Wizards were able to overtake the Hawks and win 94-88. But good news to Falcons fans, excuse me, Hawks fans. Good news is that young Mr. Richard Shea in his what am I kind of clicking on here in his first appearance here in the United States in the NBA had a big time stat line. He played a total of 29 minutes. He was 7 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 9 from 3-point range. He also had 5 rebounds and a block. So Mr. Richard Shea did fairly well in his first appearance here on the NBA courts here in the US of A. And actually, Atlanta came out of the shoe very, very hot. 23-14 lead at the end of the first quarter. And then Washington flipped that around and outscored the Hawks 26-19. And so they were pretty even for most of that first half. But again, the big news for Hawks fan, Zachary Richardson, 18 points in his first appearance as a Hawk. And hopefully that is a harbinger of good things to come. Meanwhile, the other guy that could have possibly been picked number one, Alexander Sarr, the guy who said, I don't want to come to Atlanta. He didn't play too bad himself. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. And this is what I think the Hawks really wanted and why they wanted Sarr. He was a terror on the defensive end. He had a total of 4 blocks. So again, the battle of the teams that had the first 2 picks in the NBA draft, this one goes to the Washington Wizards, 94-88 over the Atlanta Hawks. So that's catching you up just a little bit here on what's happening here in the local Atlanta scene. Now, one other thing here, we don't talk much soccer, but U.S. men's national team fired their head coach, and they are trying to get themselves together so they can be ready to play well here in the World Cup, which very interestingly, those semifinal games will in fact be held here in Atlanta. So certainly the U.S. men's team and the city of Atlanta really wants to see an improved play from the U.S. men. It got a little chippy when they played Uruguay. Interesting in Copa America. Matter of fact, the Uruguay coach, I'm watching him now, was ranting that the Americans were a little dirty and a little chippy as the team got into a fight. The Americans trying to hang on and advance, which they did not do in the Copa America matches, is with an earliest exits by an American team since those games have been started. So on the soccer horizon or the football, like I said, again, we don't talk about it much here, but we will be talking about it more and more because the world will be coming to Atlanta in 2026, God willing, for the semifinals of the World Cup. And like I said, again, it's going to be an epic time here in Atlanta, God willing. It's going to be bigger than the Super Bowl. People are going to be coming into Atlanta from all over the world. And right here in Atlanta, we had saw a resurgence of soccer here with Atlanta United. Matter of fact, in Atlanta United's second year or the third year, they won the MLS Cup. They were a team that was must see. If you were even if you weren't a soccer fan, just the energy here in Atlanta, the excitement. The team played I think, a more American friendly style of play. They scored a lot more. They were a team that was very exciting to see play. They played up tempo, fast plays. But unfortunately, since that season, almost kind of like the Hawks did, in their subsequent year after going deep into the NBA playoffs, we haven't seen that same type of play. As a matter of fact, Atlanta United is struggling to get back to the playoffs. They squeezed in, I think, at the very end last year. So we're going to see what will happen. But the coach was fired, head coach fired from the U.S. men's national team, and they seek now to bring in a coach that's going to give this team some ability to really be a factor here in men's soccer around the world. And it's ironic because just recently, the Atlanta United fired their head coach because, again, of lackluster play by the team and any ability to get them back to the deep run in the playoffs that everybody enjoyed and was excited about just 4 or 5 years ago. So that's it, guys. Oh, I can't believe it. It's time to take a break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Stay tuned and keep it locked right here for more of our Saturday Sports Update. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports. Ha ha.
What's going on? What's going on, sports fans? Again, this is your Mad Minister Jonathan Simmons. We broadcast on the Saturday Sports Update here on the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570 on your AM dial. You say, okay, well, you want to do it the regular way? No problem. Check us out online at WIGO1570.com or go to the free TuneIn app and find us broadcasting there. If you don't have it downloaded, it's free. Put in WIGO in the search engine WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. And of course, if you say, I want to get the visuals, no problem. Follow us anywhere on Real Talk Sports, the number 7, all social media platforms. We're broadcasting live from our home studios on YouTube, Facebook. We're on X, and you can watch us on the big screen on Roku. Go to Roku, put in Tiki Live. Tiki Live will pop up, and then hit my man, Gary Booker, on the Phoenix Entertainment Group channel, and we are broadcasting on the big boy screen. So if you got that big 40-inch, you can check us out right on that, and we are there. Just go to Roku, Tiki Live, Phoenix Entertainment Group, and you'll find us broadcasting to you. Amen. Well, yesterday I had an opportunity to cover the Atlanta Dream. Of course, those of you who are staying in touch with the world of sports, you know that WNBA is kind of red hot right now. Not kind of, it is. It's red hot. It is kind of the it thing to watch right now. Everybody is excited about the women's play. Of course, most of it brought on by Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And we had a chance to see Caitlin Clark a few weeks ago when her and her team, the Fever, came rolling into town here in Atlanta, and she did not disappoint. 17 points, 13 assists, balled out. Angel Reese came here a couple of weeks ago, got a double-double. But all those women are wonderful and great, and they certainly have brought eyeballs here to watch women's basketball. But if you're going to tune in to watch the game and you want to see the very best in the world, we got a chance to see it last night. The two-time defending champion Las Vegas Aces rolled into town, and they brought with them arguably the woman that right now is the very best female basketball player in the world. I'm talking about the one and only A'ja Wilson, number 22. Right now, she is dominating the WNBA, averaging 29 points a game. She's averaging almost 11 rebounds a game and almost 3 blocks. And last night, she did not disappoint. She gave us a full sample of exactly that. 33 points, 18 rebounds, and 4 blocks for the lovely Miss A'ja Wilson from South Carolina. Interestingly enough, that's the birth state of my mom and my grandmom. Yep. So she rolled in there. She played at South Carolina, won, I believe, a national title with them, and then has come into the WNBA, has won an MVP. She probably should have won a second one last year, and she took it out on the rest of the league and the playoffs as she led the Aces to their second straight WNBA title. I'm trying to see if I can get a little clip of some of her warm up from last night's game. Like I said again, it was as you would expect. It was a packed house, the 11th sellout for the excuse me, I'm sorry, the 11th sellout for the Atlanta Dream at their home facility. And of course, the Las Vegas Aces became the first team in WNBA history to sell out their entire season. So, like I said again, women's basketball is just going bonkers right now. And I'll tell you something, it's not just, don't be wrong, I mean, the play on the field has been great, but I got to tell you, the other thing that's been driving the engine is the fact that these women, before they come onto the court, they kind of walk out and do their thing. Man, look, it's like watching a fashion show. I mean, it's unbelievable how these young women have linked up with some of the big fashion houses, and they are just rocking it. It's almost like it's watching a fashion runway when they come in. But let's see if I got a little clip of. Let's see if I got a little clip of Asia Wilson kind of doing her thing, warming up. Let's take a peek and see if we can get a little picture of that. We hope we'll be able to get it before we get off the air. But let's see if we can take a little peek here at well, we can't get it. Anyway, bottom line is that, like I said, Asia Wilson is in fact very best player in the world, dominant. The Aces now are 15-7. They still have a ways to go. Obviously, we're about the halfway point of the season. Meanwhile, here on Atlanta Dream, this is a team that really is struggling due to injuries. Their two of their top players, actually three of their starting players, were not able to play at all last night. And you have an all-star from last year, Ryan Howard, that hasn't played most of the season due to injury. So although the Dream started out 4-2, they have been disastrous since that point. After starting out 4-2, since that time, the Dream have been a lackluster 3-13. Now I got to say this: although this team has suffered a lot of injury, there are some people that feel that the coaching has not been the best. Now, the head coach from the Dream is a former player. She's a very animated woman. I think that she is doing all she can to some degree to try to get this team up to snuff. But one of the things I have seen in watching this team is their inability to get the ball to their star players consistently. One of those players is Tina Charles. She is a veteran of over 10 years in WNBA. She's actually the third leading scorer in WNBA history. But yet, for some strange reason, this team seems to have an inability to consistently get her the ball. And one of the other scores, Alicia Gray, same thing. There are times where they just don't seem to run enough plays for these two players. And I know for me, if my two studs are there and I really am a light-handed team, I don't have the personnel that I need, I'm like, hey, man, you guys are going to have to step up. We're going to make sure to find a way. We're going to find a way to get those players open so they can make plays. We're going to make it happen. And right now, that's the one drawback I really see from the head coach is that her inability to get schemes and run plays to get their star players involved, especially now that they're shorthanded. But the bottom line is, like I said, again, it was rocking and rolling. And again, we got a chance to see the best player in the league, which is the one and only Asia Wilson. Again, her stat line, 33 points, 18 rebounds, and 4 blocks as the Dream go down to the Aces 84-70 last night. They at one point had a lead in the first quarter. They were up 21-20, and then the Aces ran off a 24-9 run to end the half. And that pretty much was it. Now, a couple of times, the Dream in the second half, late in the second half, got down to 7 or 8 points. But it really was because there were times where Asia Wilson was in the game, and there were times when you could see that really the Aces weren't really in full focus. Again, no disrespect to the comeback that the Dream did. No disrespect on them cutting that 20-plus point lead down to 8 or 9. But it just was the same situation we've seen game after game. They have stretches where the team doesn't seem to focus. The team is horrific from three-point range. I think last night they were 3 of 14. And meanwhile, they're giving up 39% shooting from three-point range against the Aces. And I went to a game, they actually let another team shoot 50% from three-point. So this team's got some issues defensively and offensively. Again, some of it is due to injury, but some of it, I think, again, the coach has not found a way to maximize uh, the best players on this team, getting them the ball consistently so they can not only keep these guys in these games, but possibly win some of these games that in many cases were close in the second half. So that's our hope here. That first of all, the Dream will be able to kind of get their act together when their players come in and be able to be competitive because they are only a couple of games away from a playoff spot. And man, wouldn't that be cool to see the playoffs, get a chance to see some of these better WNBA teams again before the season ends? But we shall see. But last but not least, like I said again, the WNBA is red hot. Speaking of last but not least, we want to close out with just the Atlanta Falcons news. The Atlanta Falcons will be back on the field very, very soon, coming off the break. They will be starting the summer camp, which of course leads into preseason and then is the precursor to the NFL football season. And believe it or not, guys, we are already in July and the NFL football season is really almost upon us. So, you know, Falcons fans, I think it's going to be a great year for the Falcons this year. Of course, people say, well, Minister, you said that last year. I'm just telling you, this team that they have right now, with the quarterback of Kirk Cousins, with all of the offensive firepower that they have, this is a Falcons team that, operative thing here, on paper, should be a team that is able to win a division, NFC South, get to the playoffs, and then make some noise in the playoffs. You got a running back room that has not one, but two young men that have rushed for over 1,000 yards in a season. And you had a situation where, um, both of these guys have done it. That this room is stacked, and so they should be in a situation where they are able to, like I said, offensively do a great job. And then with Kirk Cousins, although this is a guy that he was coming off injuries, this is an individual that, before he got injured, was one of the better quarterbacks in the league. So I'm thinking that if we can even get 85% of what Kirk Cousins was, that would still be 100% better than the quarterback play that we'd had going up to that point. So again, guys, I look at this Falcons team offensively. They should be a dominant team. The big question is going to be, will they be able to put together a defense that will be good enough to at least keep teams from scoring enough to get the victories they need? Because like I said, on offense, you look at them on paper, they look stacked. You got Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London. Like I said, again, you have Kirk Cousins, you have just players everywhere. Bijan Robinson, you have players at all the skill positions that can be great players. They brought in players from other teams. So again, this is a team that looks like on paper that should be a team that can do some work. And last but not least, as I mentioned, they have a guy that is kind of the backup or the kind of offset for Robinson in terms of Tyler Algiers. Algiers broke the Falcons' rookie rushing record. Now, of course, he took more games, but he had 1,000 yards in his rookie season. And he is a bull. And I think that now some people are thinking that he should be traded. I'm thinking this is a guy that Falcons have to find a way to use him more in order for this offense to be well balanced with the play action fakes and so forth. Well, I tell you what's not a fake. Me being a minister. As we get ready to close this broadcast up, I have to remind everybody as I do a quick shift because we're about to get off the air. Hey, man, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, you see all this crazy stuff going on today, you better get right with God. That's the word from the pulpit. All right. We appreciate all those of you tuning in to listen to us on the legendary WIGO Pacer 1570. Keep it locked there for more great music and inspirational talk. Until the next time we get back together again, you know how we do it. We simply say God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.